Why, hello there. Good meowing, good afternoon, or good evening. Whatever time it is for you, thank you so much for joining me and welcome to tonight's stream. It's Paradigm Paradox because my joycons are charged this time. So we can go through Ibuki's route more and actually like get further into it. But yeah, so I'm excited. Oh, you know what I forgot to do? I forgot to send out my live tweet. That's what I forgot to do. I was like, and we're ready. And nope, we're not. All right, so we're gonna wait for the musics to end. All right, and now we pop over here. Oh no. Oh no, the spirits took me while I wasn't looking. Oh no. Come on. Come on. Come on, spirits, let me go. There we go. Okay, the spirits have released me. I've been freed from their horrible grasp. Nope, I don't want to update my Switch. I still haven't done that. But now we're with Ibuki. So, last time, we were in the vector-only city, vector-only place that we found out about. And we've been brought here because we saved Lise from dying. Lise is not currently dead. I don't know if she'll stay that way, though. I cocked my head in curiosity and entered the building at Ibuki's suggestion. Ibuki seemed to know his way around. He moved confidently, like he was in his own home. As I watched him, I suddenly felt suspicious. Do you live here as well? Ibuki nodded nonchalantly. His tone was so casual that I forgot to feel shocked. You might have heard from Moravia, but I'll be staying here with my friend Lise, so,
もちろん知ってるよ。それより、冷めてしまう前に、その食事をリーゼに届けてあげるといい。何か手伝うことはある？
No, I'm good for now, thanks.
わかった。困ったことがあったらいつでも声をかけて。僕はあの部屋にいるから。
Ibuki pointed to one of the doors.
それじゃあ、またね。
So, we're living in the same building as him. Thank you for all your help, Ibuki. I bowed my head in thanks as the door closed. There was actually more I wanted to ask, but it could wait for another time. For now, I should check on Lise, our definitely not dead friend. I headed to the room where Lise was resting. I don't know if she's gonna turn into a vector or not. Lise, I'm back. I called out to Lise in the faint hope that she'd be awake, but there was no answer. The room was silent. I looked down at Lise from her bedside. It was a relief to see her sleeping peacefully without any discomfort. Her condition seems to have stabilized. I hope she wakes up soon. I put the bread and soup on the nightstand and sat down in a nearby chair. Left alone with my thoughts, it finally sank in that Lise was truly alive. I don't know. I mean, yes, her heart is beating, but she might be brain dead for all we know. I was flooded with relief and gratitude. She could have died back there or turned into a mindless vector. It's a miracle neither happened. But as Moravia said, Lise was no longer truly human. That information alone was a big shock. Did I do the right thing? Would Lise have wanted me to save her if it meant sacrificing her humanity? Never really thought that an otome game would get into this, but okay. Maybe I was just being selfish because I can't bear the thought of losing her. I stewed in my restless thoughts until Lise suddenly stirred beside me. Lise! Lise's eyes slowly opened.
ここはどこ?
My eyes flooded with tears of relief. Lise was awake! But she still looked pale and sickly. I didn't think it'd be a good idea to explain everything right at that moment. I wiped away my tears. I don't think so. Last thing that happened to her was she got attacked. And then she fell unconscious. And then she was medically sedated. and then taken here. So her not knowing what's going on makes it total sense to me. I wiped away my tears and gave her what I hoped was a reassuring smile. You're in a safe place, don't worry.
Anzen.
Oh no. The word safe seemed to spark a memory for Lise. She repeated the words as if assessing its implications.
私、どうしたんだっけ？頭がぼーっとして。
Oh, baby.
あ、そうだ。何かこう、すごく怖い目にあった気がする。
It's alright, Lise. Don't force anything right now. You need to rest. How do you feel? Are you in pain?
うん。それはないかな。
Oh.
頭がぼんやりするくらいで。
Oh, I see. Oh, are you hungry? I've got bread and soup. Think you can try eating some? If Moravia was right about Lise being asleep this whole time, she wouldn't have eaten all day. Lise thought for a moment, then nodded.
ありがとう。確かに、ちょっとお腹空いてるかも。
I helped Lise sit upright before passing her the bowl of soup.
いただきます。
Lise sipped the soup and then smiled.
はあ、これ美味しいね。
I'll let Hugo know. Right? I was surprised too. Lise hesitated as if my choice of words made her realize I wasn't the one who cooked the soup. She probably had so many questions about what happened and what was going on. Once you've recovered a bit, I'll explain where we are and what happened. For now, you should get some rest. You were badly hurt.
わかった。君がそう言うのなら、今はおとなしくしてるよ。
Aww.
なんか、気を使わせちゃったみたいだね。
Yeah, you did. Lise. Never mind about that. Just focus on getting better. Want some bread to go with the soup?
食べたいな。ちぎって食べさせてくれる？
I was so relieved to learn that Lise was all right that I didn't mind obliging her childlike request. All right, open wide. Afterwards, Lise and I chatted about nothing in particular, but I was giddy with happiness. True, it was my selfishness that saved her, but I would have fallen apart if she died. I would have regretted it for the rest of my life. Yeah, we know that. After slowly eating the soup, Lise said she was tired and laid down again. I quietly left the room, headed to the kitchen, and washed the bowl. I tidied up the room as well, but after that, there was nothing left to do, so I just sat and twiddled my thumbs for a bit. Maybe I should just go to bed. It's still kind of early to go to sleep, though. I lay on the bed and wondered if I'd be able to get any sleep. After a little while, I still didn't feel sleepy at all. Instead, my mind churned with thoughts, making me feel more awake than ever. I can't sleep. There isn't really anything to do here. Maybe I should go outside. But it might be dangerous to go out alone. And what if I get lost? I guess it should be okay if I stick close by. And besides, it would be more productive to look around than lie in bed wide awake. That's what I told myself as I headed out anyway. We're gonna get lost as fuck. Sure is pitch black this time of night. The mantle of night seemed especially dark after stepping out of a bright building. I don't know if I would classify that building as bright, but okay. But since the projection of the starry sky above me was still operational, there was enough light to see the path. It's amazing when you think about it. Despite being in ruins, the essential features of the colony are still intact. I headed down the path near the building while admiring the achievements of the colony engineers. Lena! Hello! I was initially on alert in case I needed to act fast in a surprise vector attack. Yes. We live in artificial worlds because the rest of the world is fucked. Basically, the world is fucked and we live in these tiny little man-made utopias. Except they're not really utopias. Yeah. Yeah, this is the monster area. That it's an abandoned colony that the monsters took over. Monsters, I say, the vectors. They're kind of human. They're like pseudo-human. They're human plus. Human a little bit to the left. I was essentially on alert in case I needed to act fast in a surprise vector attack, but I soon realized I could relax a little. They're all sleeping, and so peacefully. I could hear the gentle sound of deep breathing coming from the beasts. It was a nice change from the usual feral roars and screeches. I made sure to keep my bearings as I walked down the path. Soon I was back near where we ate dinner. I was passing by a large tree when...
どこに行くつもり?
Moravia! Huh? I looked up in surprise and saw Moravia sitting in the tree. For a few speechless moments, I simply gazed at her. She's beautiful. Moravia always looked ethereal, but with the moon as her backdrop, the quote-unquote moon, she could have almost been an apparition. The same thing happened the first time I saw her at the academy. I got lost just looking at her. What? You surprised me when you vanished earlier. Where have you been?
ずっとそばにいたよ。
Well, I certainly never noticed. Maybe she was there the whole time and I just failed to perceive her. How do you miss a whole-ass human being? But why the need to conceal herself at all? It was beyond me.
それで、どこに行くつもり? タウの内部を調べたいのなら、昼の明るさの方が適してると思うけど。
That's not it. I couldn't sleep, so I decided to go out for a walk. It's too early to go to bed. A lot happened and I can't relax.
そういうことなら、僕と散歩しよう。
Alright, cool. Moravia's proposal surprised me. With you?
一人よりも二人の方が楽しいよ。
Moravia leaped gracefully down from the tree, ignoring my stunned stare.
お待たせ。
When I looked at Moravia beside me, I felt like I'd just woken from a dream. The hazy feeling passed and I realized the Moravia standing beside me was real flesh and blood.
さあ、行こうか。
Okay. Okay. Moravia and I began to walk, wandering around with no set destination in mind. At one point, I inquired about a certain building and Moravia explained its function, suggesting we visit in daylight sometime. We'd fought his enemies as recently as yesterday, but being with her felt oddly natural. Time passed pleasantly. By the way, Lise woke up earlier. She even managed to eat something. I'm so relieved she's doing okay. I couldn't have saved Lise by myself. Thank you for helping me.
どういたしまして。君も元気になったみたいで何よりだ。
I'm fine. I wasn't injured or anything.
でも、そんな風に笑っていなかったでしょ? もっと思い詰めた表情が多かった。
I didn't realize how tense I'd been until Moravia pointed it out. She's right. I couldn't even crack a smile, not until Lise woke up. It was like I had a heavy weight on my heart. I put my hand to my chest at the thought. Moravia grinned.
君は笑っている方がいいと思う。
Aw, thanks. It feels nice too. I then let my gaze wander and noticed a Vector lying down snoozing close by. Vectors are everywhere here. They seem like normal animals. Huh? I suddenly remembered that the Vectors attacked us at night. They should have been awake. Wait, the Vectors aren't nocturnal?
いや、そういうわけじゃないよ。
But the Vector attacks were almost always at night, weren't they? It seems odd they'd be asleep now.
ああ、なるほど。
Moravia approached a member of the herd and patted its neck. The Vector slumbered on, oblivious. Her gentle touch made it clear how much she loved the beasts.
君はさっき眠れないと言ったね。害獣の中にも稀に眠れずにいる子がいるんだ。そういう害獣はまず例外なく人間の住むコロニーを目指そうとする。
Huh? Weren't you the one telling them to attack human settlements?
僕はコロニーに行きたがる害獣たちを先導してやっていただけだよ。雪並やヒューガは自分から彼らを率いてコロニーに向かうけどね。でもそれだって無理に害獣をけしかけているわけではない。すべて害獣の意志があってのことなんだ。
But I thought the Vectors weren't sentient. I mean, whenever they attacked us, they just lash out like wild animals. They seem pretty mindless.
君にはそう見えるんだね。
True. I see. Murabia's eyes filled with sadness, and I nodded guiltily. But if you all aren't doing the planning, why did the Vectors come to the colony?
それも含めて、やはり君には真実を知ってほしい。
Probably best to do that in the light, though. Everything?
害獣たちのことや、この世界のこと。君が知らないすべてのことを教えてあげる。明日、僕たちと出かけよう。
Oh, let's hang out tomorrow. Alright, I mean, what else are we gonna do? I hesitate momentarily. Alright, I'll go with you, Moravia.
いい判断だね。
Remember what you said before? You told me I know nothing, and at this rate, I won't be able to save anyone. When Lise was attacked, I realized that I'm helpless to protect what matters most to me. So if I have a chance to fill in the gaps in my knowledge, I have to take it. I want to do whatever I can. Moravia's eyes widened with surprise, and then she smiled gently.
君は僕が思っていたよりもずっと勇敢なのかもしれない。
Courage or dumb luck.
未知のものを知ることは時に恐ろしいことだ。知らないままでいる方が楽なこともある。
Yep.
だけど君は真っ向から立ち向かおうと言うんだね。いいよ。君が望むなら全てを教えてあげる。
Alright. Thank you, Moravia.
さて、明日は出かけるにしても、今日はもう休むといいよ。いろいろあって疲れただろ？
Yeah, I am kind of tired.
部屋まで送るよ。帰ろう。
Thank you. We headed back the way we came, careful not to wake the sleeping Vectors. Morning already? I felt disoriented for a moment from waking up in a strange room. Oh, right. I'm at the colony that Moravia and the others live in, and they're letting me stay in this room. Last night, I practically collapsed into bed. I was out as soon as my head hit the pillow, putting an end to my short-lived insomnia. I guess I was much more tired than I thought, just like Moravia said. I sat up in bed and realized my body felt lighter than it did the other day. Wait a second, where does Moravia live? I wonder if she's in another room in this building. I'll ask her when I see her today. I tidied myself up before going to see Lise. She was sleeping soundly, clearly still a long way from being fully recovered. I decided to leave her alone, hoping she'd show marked improvement soon. We should leave her a note or something. I washed my face, got changed, and then sat down by the window with a sigh. Moravia invited me to go out with her today, so she'll probably come by to pick me up. I should sit tight and wait. I got distracted out the window and saw some Vectors not too far off. It was my first time seeing them during the day. They seemed friendly enough as they bumbled about together and napped in the sun. Somehow, watching them made me feel soothed. Now that I'd seen the Vector's sweet side, I felt like I could identify with Moravia's soft spot for them. She said there are things I don't know, but I wasn't even sure exactly what knowledge I was lacking. What was Moravia going to tell me? My curiosity was mixed with fear. I felt like everything I took for granted until now could potentially be turned upside down. It made me nervous. Where will Moravia take me? Somewhere within Tao or outside? I don't want to go too far without Lise.
何か面白いものでも見えるの？
I'm sorry, I thought I just saw lightning outside. Are? Well, it's kind of sort of. No. No rain. Oh well. Maybe that was somebody flashing their car lights or something. I don't know. Yeek! He scared me half to death. His voice came out of nowhere when I thought I was came out of nowhere when I thought I was completely alone. No wonder I jumped and shrieked.
今の面白い声だったね。
Yeah, it was. No need to smirk while pointing it out. This marked the second time Ibuki took me by surprise. I just couldn't sense his presence, even when he was right next to me. It's not that I'm mad at Ibuki, but this sort of thing isn't good for my blood pressure.
それで 何か面白いものでもあった？窓の外を熱心に見ていたけど。
Also, did he just walk into our room randomly? I was just watching the vectors. You're probably used to them, but for me, they're a fascinating sight. When I talked with Moravia last night, she said I don't know anything. I was just mulling over that while looking at them. I told Ibuki what I was honestly thinking, to which he chuckled and nodded.
そうだったんだね。
Moravia said she'd take me somewhere today. I don't know where she plans on going, though.
すぐにわかるさ。それじゃあ行こうか。
How? But Moravia's coming to get me.
そうだね。だから行こう。
I wanted to stay in the room. Moravia was probably on her way after all, but Ibuki took my hand and headed towards the door. Yes, of course. What does that even mean? I made plans to go out with Moravia, but he's acting like he's the one who invited me. It felt weird, but then again, Ibuki did have a tendency to speak in riddles. Maybe his remark was just another Ibuki-ism. Hey, bling! Bling, bling, bling! Hello? Oh, maybe he's come to take me to breakfast, like Moravia did yesterday.
どうしたの？
Nothing. I'm good. I'm doing alright. There it is, Otome-san. That took a while. Enjoying the paradigm paradox. We are in... No, the game just crashed. That was interesting. That was interesting. I don't remember the last time I saved. Oh, you're okay, Pudding. You didn't do it.
Paradigm どこから再開?
Oh my god. Alright, well. Oh my god, it didn't say that I'd already read all this too. Okay, hold on. We're gonna have to make our way through this. Oh, actually, can I? No, not quick save. I'll skip. There we go, I'll skip. Attack them head on is what I have to do. Okay. I did! It's very interesting. I forgot to reply. But I'm definitely gonna add it to my list. I have like a 50 song long list though, so. We find out that things aren't exactly how we thought, and we're not certain how to deal with them as we try to save our friend from becoming a monster. Yeah, I love Electro Swing. I love Electro Swing. Alright, there's Moravia. I can't save Lise. I think that's what we have to do. Then Kudamori. Trying to remember. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Why the hell would the game crash? Alright. Was that Kiki? I don't think it was. Okay. We have to go to the outer wall. Because there's Ibuki. And then there's Moravia. And we still didn't make the connection that they're the same goddamn person. Alright. And then Moravia Ibuki gives Lise some medicine. And then we steal Lise's unconscious body. And then we go to the vector place. Okay. Yeah, Lise's unconscious body. She's alive. She didn't turn into a vector. We saved her. We didn't kill her this time. We saved her. We just had to team up with the villains to do so. She's still stuffing muffins. She's just injured. And then she was injured, and then she was sedated, and then she was given an antibody. So she's sleeping a lot. But she's alive, and she woke up. And she had some soup. And it was great. Okay. We found out that Hyuga's a good cook. And he cooks for everybody. And he's like a mom. He's like group mom. I'm dropping a goddamn full save here. Feels nice. And I have no idea that we have two. Yeah, Gun Boy is actually Gun Mom. So we have two thingamabobbers. We have sync rate and affection. And so when it was the heroes, we had ability like boost, and then we had affection. So now we have sync rate. So I'm going full on both because I don't know. I don't know if that's gonna get us the normal end or the good end or what. You human? He's like, wow, that's a silly question. Of course I'm human. But no, he's not. But he says he's 100 years old, and we're like, what the fuck? And he's like, no, I'm joking with you. So we don't even know what the fuck to think. But Lise isn't fully human, and neither are we. Okay, so there we go. Then we go out, walk. Okay, so we weren't terribly far in. That didn't take terribly long to catch up. We're gonna... agree to go.
さて、
Okay, I'm dropping another save. That's what I thought. We're at 1-2. You bet you fucking better. Okay, there we go. Okay. There we go. So then we go to sleep. And then we wake up and we're like, we're about to go out and hang with Moravia. And then we think about the fact that Moravia said we're naive and don't know things. And then Ibuki comes and walks into our room and we're like, what the fuck?
それで何
Okay, looking vectors. There we go. Maybe his remark was just another Ibuki-ism. Oh, maybe he's come to take me to breakfast like Moravia did yesterday.
どうしたの
Nothing. I was sure Moravia would show up once we reached the courtyard for breakfast. Reassured, I let Ibuki lead me out of the room. And we're caught back up. We didn't lose all that much time. He guided me out into the sun while maintaining hold of my hand. The vectors continued to wander calmly like they'd been when I watched from the window. Ibuki and I weaved between them. Are we headed to the courtyard? Guess we'll be eating breakfast soon. I was no longer confident we were going to the courtyard, but Ibuki never slowed as he led me along.
今日もいい天気になりそうだね
Yeah. The colony had no real sky, just a dome, so good weather was a given. I decided it wasn't worth pointing that out. Besides, I had another question on my mind that needed answering. Hey, can I ask you something?
何
Is the hand-holding necessary? Oh no, the spirits took me. Oh no, come on. Come on, spirits, let me go. Let me go. Release me. Please. Please release me. There we go. Okay, it released me. Ibuki hadn't let go of my hand since we left the building. It made sense at first. He wanted me to follow him, but was it still needed now? It's getting a little weird, to be honest. Not to mention embarrassing.
手をつないで歩く必要か。特にないかな。
Then...
でも手を離す必要もないよね。
But it's not necessary that I let go either. Thanks? I guess you have a point. Hey, wait! That is totally flawed logic.
変わってないんじゃないかな。
Ibuki didn't seem the least bit phased by my bewildered denial.
それとも君はこうして歩くのは嫌？
It's not really a question of enjoying it or not. It's just I can walk perfectly fine by myself.
それなら2人でも大丈夫だよね。
And a fine solo walk will be great with two people. What the hell? Ibuki seemed unable to pick up exactly what I was putting down. This is so weird. I know I'm talking sense, but I can't bring myself to push the issue. I decided to drop the matter altogether, even though giving up hurt my argument. And so I let Ibuki continue to hold my hand. How old is Ibuki? We've never touched upon this. He said he was 100, and then he said it was a joke, so I don't know how old he actually is. The more we walked, the more clearly I began to notice something. His hand is so warm. Warmth. Human warmth. Emanated from the hand wrapped around mine. It reminded me that we were both alive, but there was something different too. His hand. It's pretty big. Wow, we are just jumping straight the fuck in. I'd never held hands with a boy before, so I never had a reason to think about it. But men's hands really were bigger than women's. That's a... okay. The size difference was really apparent. His hand is slender with long fingers, but it has a surprising amount of muscle. Huh? Muscly hands? That sounds... ugh. Curiosity overtook my modesty, and I suddenly found myself squeezing his hand and marveling at its feel.
僕の手がどうかした？
Oh, sorry, it's just unusual to me.
珍しいって？
It's just different from my hand is all.
昨日も言っただろう。僕は誰とも違うんだよ。
I remember, but that's not what I'm trying to say. I was at a loss for words, unsure of how to explain further. It was a wild hair thought, don't worry about it. Ibuki thoughtfully dropped his gaze down to our clasped hands and regarded them for a moment.
そうだね。やっぱり違う。
Oh, please don't.
君の手は小さくて、そう。こういうのってなんて言うんだっけ？
Please don't say sexual dimorphism. I kept quiet while Ibuki lost himself in thought. We resumed walking until we reached where we ate dinner yesterday. But Ibuki walked right on by without a second glance. I turned to him alarmed. Hold on, are we gonna eat breakfast here?
朝ごはん？
To be fair, Ibuki never suggested we were going to do anything of the sort. I'd made my own assumption. You were headed towards the courtyard, so I thought we were gonna eat. Are we skipping breakfast?
特に決まってるわけじゃないけど、君は食べたいの？
I put a hand on my stomach. Yeah, I think I am a little.
じゃあ、これを食べるといいよ。
Ibuki pulled out a bag of crackers. Oh no. Oh, God bless it! Why did the spirits take me again? Okay, better. The kind you could buy in any store in Theta. You're okay if I eat them?
うん、僕はいらないから。
I took the bag of crackers and inspected it. I'm not really sure how he obtained something like this, but if crackers aren't rare here, I guess it means they have everything they need. Thanks, I'll give them a try. I thought it'd be rude to eat and walk, so I pointed to a nearby pile of rubble. Ibuki and I sat down. I opened the bag of crackers and popped one in my mouth. It was light yet crunchy and salty with a pleasant hint of sweetness. They're good. Ibuki waited patiently until I'd finished all of the crackers. Ah, that hit the spot. Thanks again. I stood up and Ibuki took my hand once more.
よし、それじゃあ行こうか。
Cool. But where are we going? I already made plans.
昨日出かけようって言ったよね。
are we gonna like really nip this who's Moravia and who's Ibuki in the bud? Are we really gonna like just point out that they're the same person?
How do you know about that? I made those plays with Moravia.
だから行こう。
Gee, thanks!
Hey, hold on. Like I keep saying, I made those plans with Moravia. I never said I'd go anywhere with you.
モラビアとした約束なら僕とした約束だよ。
Huh? What do you...
Then a crazy thought popped into my head. Are Ibuki and Moravia the same person? Oh, thank God. I'd already noticed how similar they were, and the wording Ibuki used made it easy to believe he actually was Moravia. Is that even possible?
No way.
One's a guy and the other's a girl. Plus their builds are totally different. And Ibuki couldn't pull off that kind of disguise. I shook my head to banish my unfounded theory. While I was busy with my head in the clouds, a herd of vectors charged past.
Yikes! They pack a lot of power, don't they? Where are they off to?
Exactly. Yeah, I don't like that take on gender. I felt a sense of foreboding as soon as the words left my mouth. Ibuki verified my fears.
人間たちのコロニーへ。
I felt like I'd been drenched in cold water. The vectors around here were so docile, I'd almost forgotten how dangerous they are.
After all those battles, you'd think I'd appreciate their violent capabilities. We can't let them attack humans. We need to stop them.
だから彼らについていくんだよ。
Well, this is a weird idea of a date.
Huh?
今日は害獣たちにシータを襲わせたりはしない。代わりに君に見せたいものがあるんだ。
Okay, show me something. Like what? And could I trust that he wouldn't let the vectors attack Theta?
Even if Ibuki is lying to me, I'll do whatever's necessary to stop the vectors. Alright, I'll go with you. Blessings.
Ibuki smiled, pleased with my answer. We chased after the charging vectors as quickly as possible. And then my throat makes a noise.
It won't be long before we're outside the colony. I should transform.
That should do it, but what about Ibuki?
I peered over at Ibuki. He hadn't changed and seemed fine with what he was wearing.
It wasn't surprising that he didn't need to wear any protective gear. Oh, it wasn't surprising that he didn't need to wear any protective gear.
He told me earlier that he might be more like a vector than a human. He said he's not a normal human. I hope I learn about Ibuki's true form when he fills me in on everything else. We passed through the outer wall and exited the colony.
So fast! There was a lot of open space outside of the colony, so the vectors kicked up their speed. Ibuki ran along nonchalantly, occasionally shooting me a concerned glance. He wasn't even running at top speed.
Wow, he doesn't seem tired at all. I guess it is what it is, but it's a bit annoying.
What? That's not it! The vectors increased their speed yet again. Soon they'd pulled too far ahead and we'd be unable to keep up.
You gotta be kidding me!
I'd never run so fast in my life. My lungs felt like they were made of fiery sandpaper, and I let a complaint slip out between puffs.
大丈夫?
Yeah, never been better! Ibuki was clearly concerned about me, but my response came out as self-assured. What?
ならもっと早く走れる?
What? Faster than this?
だってほら、害獣たちはまた速度を上げているよ。
I followed Ibuki's gaze and saw that the vectors were indeed getting farther away.
He's right, how they have so much stamina. I'm at my limit, I can't.
それとも君はそれが全力?
Where to push on? Okay, nope, never mind. I have to give up.
それとも君はそれ
This is my limit. That's right, I've given it all I got.
Frustrated, I snapped back at Ibuki. I turned my head in shame when...
そう。じゃあ僕に任せて。
Is he gonna pick us up? Before I could blink, Ibuki had scooped me up in his arms.
Hey, put me down!
落とさないから心配しないで。
Oh my god.
That's not the issue! I can run just fine on my own.
君の速さに合わせていたら彼らに置いていかれてしまうよ。
Oh my goodness.
Aren't I too heavy?
まさか。羽のように軽いよ。
I might be overdoing it a bit.
Still, Ibuki wasn't having any trouble carrying me. He wasn't even out of breath. Like a nimble deer, he evaded trees, rough terrain, and piles of rubble. It was almost as if we were flying.
Amazing. Alright, I'll let Ibuki carry me, or else we might fall too far behind. I tentatively wrapped my arms around his neck, thinking it might be easier for him.
その方がいい。しっかり捕まっていて。
Oh.
Then Ibuki put on a sudden burst of speed. I clung on to him tight, alarmed. Wow, he doubled his speed again! I'm nowhere near his level. Phantom, hello!
With nothing to do except enjoy the ride, I snuck a peek at Ibuki as he stared ahead.
He really is handsome up close. From this distance, I could observe every detail. His fair skin, his straight nose, his mysterious, sorrowful eyes, framed by delicate lids and long eyelashes. His eyes are different colors. I think that's called heterochromia? They're lovely. Ibuki must have sensed me staring at him because he looked back at me. We gazed into each other's eyes and I felt my cheeks grow red. Hello? No, this is Moravia. This is the ringleader. I accidentally got on Moravia's route. I mean, I was heading for it, but I didn't know I was doing it right.
君は綺麗だね。
Hey, sir! What? I'd been thinking the same thing about him, but it shocked me to hear him be the one saying it about me. He didn't seem embarrassed either. Beautiful? I don't think I'm anything to write home about. Maybe his perspective's warped because Hyuga, Yukinami, and Moravia are so stunning.
I guess our main character is just having a completely no worries bisexual awakening.
While I was deep in my thoughts, we arrived at an isolated spot far from Tao.
そろそろ止めようか。
Ibuki leaped into the air with me still in his arms and descended right in front of the vectors. Now we were in their path.
Is it a good idea to land here? The vectors could thread us like cattle.
Ibuki gently set me down on the ground and I started to panic a little. Ibuki, if we stand here... Before I could finish my thought, Ibuki smiled and started walking towards the vectors.
君は僕の後ろにいて。
He's fearless. My breath caught in my throat as I watched, but I realized I had nothing to fear as long as Ibuki was with me. Ibuki raised one hand in front of him as though gesturing to the vectors to stay. Ibuki, what are you doing? Ah! Is he gonna use psychokinesis? I can sense an enormous force coming from his body, even though I'm behind him. The vectors charged in unison. I dropped into a battle stance behind Ibuki and held my breath. Huh? That's odd. Did Ibuki just flicker? What the? I watched speechless as Ibuki's entire form shimmered. Suddenly, Ibuki was no longer there and Moravia stood in his place. Moravia? I gasped in disbelief. Moravia turned to me and smiled. Ibuki was Moravia all along!
Surprise! We knew this.
I couldn't believe it, but I also couldn't deny it. Even as I stared in disbelief, part of me realized that it made sense. I thought it was just a wild theory, but it's true. They're the same person. Both of them possess an otherworldly air. Yeah, it makes total sense.
While my mind churned over the revelation, the vectors Moravia was holding her hand out to had come to a stop and settled down.
Oh, phew, I stopped.
おやまだだ。あの一頭は道をそれるみたいだね。
Oh god.
Huh?
I followed Moravia's gaze just in time to see one vector break away from the group.
It started running again, clearly intent on getting to Theta. We have to stop that one too! Moravia, please use your power again!
Yeah. I wanted Moravia to repeat the stay move she used to calm down the other vectors, but her response shocked me.
次は君がやってみるといい。
Me? But I can't! I don't have powers like you!
ないと思っているだけ。試してみたことなんてないでしょ。僕と同じようにすればできる。
I couldn't do anything remotely like that, but Moravia made me want to try at least. In any case, I figured if I had Moravia as backup, I had nothing to lose.
There's no time to hesitate, just give it a try. It's better than nothing. Heck, just think of it as some hands-on learning. I summoned my courage and faced the charging vector, blocking its route to Theta. Then I raised my hand like Moravia, firmly planted my feet, and took a deep breath. Stop. I had no idea what I was doing. I gathered all of my willpower and focused on that one word. Stop! 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 When I shouted, the world blurred. Everything around me seemed to vanish except for the charging vector.
そう。それでいい。
I had no idea what I'd just done. When the world returned to my field of vision, the vector was standing calmly before me. It stopped. It stopped for me. I did that?
よくやったね。
Yeah, it's been since Vtuber. Why don't more otome characters shout? More Prince shouting. We'll learn Tom.
When Moravia came to stand beside me, she smiled at me and I felt my muscles relax. There's so much I want to ask. But right now, so you and Ibuki are one and the same. I just blurted it right out.
I think I was high on my success.
I tried not to sound surprised, but Moravia threw me an exasperated look.
ずっとそう言っていたじゃない。
No, you haven't.
ちゃんと言ったのにな。
You say that, but
I thought back to our awkward conversations. I couldn't recall if Moravia or Ibuki gave any indication. Maybe I missed it. Yeah, it's been since Vtuber that I had to do any yells. By the way, where did Moravia go?
今からは僕だよ。
Also, I'm gonna be right back. I have to change pants. I put these pants on because I thought I was gonna have to help my Earth Mom bring stuff over to my place, but my Earth Mom texted me and was like, hey, we're not doing that today because there's not that much stuff. It doesn't need to go on a weekend. I'm wearing pants. It's too hot here to not wear pants. I'll be right back. I just have to go change. It's like only 2 seconds. It doesn't take me that long to change pants. No! It's too hot, so I get sweaty. Bare skin plus sweat is disgusting. I'm not wearing more pants. The spirits fucking took me. Hold on a second. I will explain this because it makes sense. Okay, I'm back. So, the pants that I was wearing before are they're like lounge sweats. Like they're a little more, no, I'm only wearing one pair of pants. Why would I wear 2 pairs of pants? They're more skin tight. No, they're more skin tight pants. And the pants I just changed into are way more loose. And I can roll them up and turn them into shorts. Thus, the reason why I said it's too hot, I have to change pants. Because I was wearing long sleeve, like full-length pants, and these are also full-length pants, but you can... I'm not wearing 2 pairs of pants! These pants are a lot looser, and I can roll them up and turn them into shorts. Which is why I had to change, because the other ones I couldn't roll up and turn into shorts. So I went from wearing long pants to shorts. Thus, the "it's too hot" comment. And I always stream wearing pants. Oh no, Voida! Yes, it's acceptable. I can turn these pants into shorts. Yeah, they're like super comfy, super flowy lounge pants. And the other pants I was wearing before were like form-fitting lounge sweats. Like, these pants are for hanging out around the house. I wouldn't wear these, wear these a lot
around, like people if I don't have to. So that's why I was wearing different pants, because my Earth parents were gonna be coming. Oh no, wipe up those pants. Wait, is that what he meant? Was that him, her telling me? Yeah, I hope your keyboard is okay. That was pretty cryptic.
あれ怒ってる
Not angry, it's just you said it'll be me from now on. How on earth was I supposed to know what that meant? I mean, boys typically don't turn into girls on the fly, or vice versa. Can you see why I'd be confused?
そう思うんだ
It's what most people think! Moravia really is strange, but I feel like I'm starting to get used to her weirdness. Yikes. I was beginning to feel lightheaded, but there was no time to rest. Yeah, boys should turn into girls more often, and girls should turn into boys more often.
君をなぜここに連れてきたのか
Oh no.
そろそろ話をしよ
Can the spirits please leave me alone? Why are they so bad today? You know what? I'm just gonna restart. I'm just gonna restart Vtube Studio. Okay, I'll be back in a second. I'm back. I am back. Look at me. Yeah, understandable. You'll explain properly this time?
う前のもちゃんと話したつもりだったのにな
Her throwaway comments hardly counted as explaining properly.
まあいいやそれよりゆっくり話すなら
こっち
Oh, God bless it.
こっちの姿の方がいい
Moravia transformed into Ibuki in a snap, just like before. Hi, Ibuki.
ずっと一緒だったよね
Oh my god! Why are they... Why? Okay, the spirits are just really bad tonight. What the hell? They're both real. True, but it still feels kind of surreal even when you transform right in front of me. Why is it better for you to talk to me as Ibuki? Isn't it easier for you to walk around as Moravia?
そういうわけじゃないよどっちの姿も自分だから強いて言うならその時の気分次第かな
I love this gender fluid! I love this gender fluid!
ただそうだねモラビアの姿で力を使った後はその反動なのか、この姿でいたくなる気がする。
Are you saying you need to be Moravia in order to use your powers?
昔は超能力を使おうとすると自然にモラビアの姿になってしまっていたけど、今は息吹のままでも問題なく使えるよ。
Oh.
でも昔からの癖っていうのかな。
Oh.
今でもモラビアの姿に変身した方が強い力を発揮できるんだ。
So he used to be a magical girl. So you turn into Moravia when you're feeling fired up?
面白いね、その表現。
That is a really interesting way of putting it. I guess that's why she was always Moravia whenever she launched an attack on Theta.
モラビアも息吹もどっちも僕だから、基本的には好きな時に好きな姿で過ごしているよ。
I want that! Why can't I have that? Oh, that's why you kept appearing as one and then the other. You can shift between them with ease. I wonder what their connection was. I can't believe they're the same person. My hunch was way out there, but it turns out I was right. A tiny grin crept onto my face. Turns out my intuition was sharper than I thought.
どうしたの？ニヤニヤして。
Mia, 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 mia. I'm smiling, not smirking.
同じようなものじゃない？
It's not. Ibuki reached out and stroked the head of the Vector before us, just like Moravia did. It was so aggressive just moments ago, but now it's like a well-trained dog.
ほら、害獣たちの目を見てごらん。
Its eyes? I went up beside Ibuki and nervously looked into the eyes of the Vector I'd stopped with my powers. I'd never seen one so close. Its eyes were strange, almost blank, like glass marbles. Hey! Blessings. But they were filled with warmth, too. I found myself saying my thoughts out loud. I look sad somehow. I look sad somehow.
君はそう感じたんだね。
I realized that all the vectors, not just this one, were gazing in the same direction. I thought they were just mindless beasts, but at that moment their eyes seemed mournful to me.
害獣たちがどこを見ているかわかる？
You know. Good point.
Well, in that direction there's only one thing, Theta. The vector's target. That was the only landmark they could possibly be staring at.
その様子だと気がついたみたいだね。
But why do the vectors seem so sad? Ibuki's response was quick.
人間が恋しいんだよ。
They're lonely? I felt a tightness in my chest.
害獣たちが元は人間だったって君はもう知っているよね。
Yep.
今はまだそうかもしれない。でも害獣に襲われて怪我をした人間はいずれ害獣になるんだよ。
Yeah, you told me.
害獣たちが人間の住むコロニーを目指すのはかつて人間だった頃の思いが残っているからなんじゃないかな。
Aww.
記憶はなくても思いは残る。彼らは人恋しさから人間に近づこうとするんだと思うよ。
If they miss humans, why do they attack us?
襲っているつもりはないんだ。
Ibuki looked sad as he pet the vector.
自分が何者になってしまったのか彼らは分かっていない。 襲うつもりはなくただ人間たちに会いに行っただけなのに結果として人間を傷つけてしまっている。そういうかわいそうな子たちなんだ。
You mean... Vectors attack humans because they're desperate for their company. What a heart-wrenching, hopeless story. Ibuki spoke so sympathetically about the vectors that I started to share his sentiments.
No, I can't get swept up in his feelings. So many people in Theta suffer because of the Vector's attacks. I thought about Lise, who was attacked directly by one of the Vectors and narrowly dodged becoming one herself. I can't just dismiss what they did out of pity. But what about the people who've been hurt? Lise was seriously injured and it could have been much worse. I get it, I want to sympathize with the Vectors, but we can't simply let them attack humans.
Yeah.
だけどもしあのままリーゼが害獣になっていたら君は害獣になってしまったリーゼをかわいそうだと思ったんじゃないかな。それなら君も害獣をかわいそうだと思う僕と変わらないよね。
Oh. Guess I would. I guess I'd feel the same. I tried to picture what would happen if Lise really did turn into a Vector. Poor Lise. It was too sad to think about. Ugh. I find myself empathizing despite my position. I guess I can't help how I feel. It's hard to have a firm stance on this. Whenever I try looking at it differently, my resolve wavers all over the place. I fell silent, unsure of what to say, but Ibuki kindly dropped the subject. He didn't seem interested in forcing me to argue. Rather, he just wanted to share his own view and have me consider both sides. Correct, Lise did not turn into a Vector. She is alive, and in a humanoid form.
真にかわいそうなのは人間と害獣どちらなんだろう。
Ibuki muttered under his breath. He wasn't seeking a response, but his words resonated. Who does deserve more sympathy? Innocent humans who get hurt, or Vectors who attack because they're so lonely? Both sides were victims of unfortunate circumstances. It was tragic either way.
Satanical! Hello! Yes, she can continue muffin stuffing. And Natsu, hello!
I don't know. I looked at the Vectors who resembled humans but aren't. These Vectors were all people once. What kind of lives did they live? What happened to their families and friends?
Yeah, this otome likes to hit ya in the face with, like, ethical questions. Yes, Vectors just want hugs. Vectors want human company, but they don't know that they are no longer human. So, when they go and everyone freaks out, and they just end up rampaging. Because they don't really have human thought, apparently? But they still remember what it's like to be a human, so they want to be with other humans. And so they go to the colonies, and then they end up accidentally attacking people. They end up attacking people, and then people get turned into vectors, and the cycle continues. It's rough. This game really, really is like, hey, you want some ethical quandaries? I'm like, no! Yeah, being Meguka is suffering. It pained my heart to think about. Regardless of the reason, humans turning into vectors is a terrible thing. I thought about how lonely the vectors must be. After gazing into their eyes, it was impossible to think they had evil intent. Everything I thought about them had been turned upside down. I trembled, a deep sense of unease rushing over me.
どうしたの? 大丈夫?
Yeah, I'm fine. Hey, why did you stop the vectors here? Why let them get this close instead of preventing them from leaving at all?
止めるだけならそれでいいんだろうね。でも、彼らの欲求を封じるだけでは不憫だから、少しでも人間の近くに行かせてやりたかった。
I see. The Vector's plight and Ibuki's kindness both made me feel terribly sad. There's still so much I don't understand, but there is one thing I do know. As long as Vectors keep attacking humans and changing them into more Vectors, this vicious cycle will never break.
いや、それは違うな。
I looked at Ibuki, surprised by his sudden rebuttal. His eyes were full of pity.
害獣が人間を襲わなかったとしても、悲しみは終わらないよ。
What do you mean?
まだ君に教えていないことがある。答えを出すのはそれからだよ。
Oh, that's the whole vectors are actually human experiments. We know that humans turn into vectors when they're attacked by vectors. Yeah, this is the researchers turning people into vectors, and the vectors being a side effect of experimentation into basically CRISPR babies.
僕も君も。
Huh? Wait, does that mean...
そろそろ帰ろう。
Ibuki cut off the conversation and turned to go. He clearly didn't feel like talking anymore.
Something else I have to know? I'm curious, but I don't think he's up to telling me.
Yep, exactly. The researchers wanted to make, and so they pivoted from trying to make the world habitable for humans. So the world got fucked up. It was habitable for humans, it got fucked up, and now it's inhabitable for humans. The scientists were originally researching how to undo that process and unfuck the world. And they pivoted from unfucking the world to fucking the humans, fucking over the humans, fucking with human DNA to make it so that they can survive in the fucked up world. And doing so, they created vectors. And magical girls. Basically, you have one inciting event, and then it becomes either you, so like a vector attack, and it's either you become a vector, or you get like, yeah, unchecked science, or you get magical powers. It's like a split off, but or you can find out you have powers. Through apparently like intense mental strain or CRISPR babies. Once more, CRISPR babies. I was afraid of what I might find out. What other truths were going to surface? I've come this far. I can't back down now. I've got to finish what I started.
どうしたの? 疲れた?
Nope. Let's go back.
No, CRISPR, like the gene manipulation. It hurt to turn my back on Theta and leave again, especially when it was so close.
I can never go home again. We didn't have to issue any commands to the vectors. They just started following us. We made it. Even though we walked back to Tao instead of running, I still felt exhausted. It was a long haul at any speed.
疲れたみたいだね。だから途中で僕が抱えてあげようかって聞いたのに。
There was no need to hurry back, and I would have felt like a burden if you carried me. We're here, and that's all that matters. The walk back took so long, it was now way past noon. We were out for quite a while, and I left without saying anything to Lise. If she's woken up, she's probably worried. Ibuki, I'm going back to my room for a bit. I want to make sure Lise is okay. As I headed back to the building... Yeah, have some cheery music. As I headed back to the building where I was staying, Ibuki spoke up. Nope!
それなら
She's human.
一緒に来て。
But I have to go see Lise.
すぐだから。
Are you sure? You're not about to take me on another multi-hour walk, are you?
あれ、疑うんだ。君はすぐに騙されちゃいそうで心配だったから、用心深いのはいいことだと思うよ。
Rude! Is that supposed to be a compliment? I stared at Ibuki and wondered what he actually thought of me. Ibuki beckoned, unfazed as ever by my clueless stare.
遠くには行かないから、ついてきて。
Yeah, let me go, gender fluid. I need to go see Lise.
So here's the fun things that we learned. So we immediately nipped in the bud the whole, is Moravia Ibuki? Because Ibuki transformed into Moravia right in front of us. And Ibuki told us that he can use his powers no matter which form he's in. He just chooses one, whichever, according to his mood. So he literally is just gender fluid. Amazing.
Ibuki led me to the courtyard where we ate dinner yesterday evening. Ah, Hyuga's cooking again. I guess he really does prepare meals every day.
やあ、ヒューガ。
Mm-hmm. It is. But we don't know how old Ibuki is. He originally told us he was over 100, and then he said that was a joke. But I don't think he was really joking. I think he's a lot older than he looks.
Hello.
I joined Ibuki in greeting Hyuga, but he just seemed annoyed by it all. At least he responded.
Ibuki, お前外行ってきたのか?
No!
ちょっとそこまで。
I wouldn't describe that trip as not too far.
それより食事をもらいたいんだけど、いいかな?
Food.
なあ、今できたところだ。
Ibuki accepted 2 trays from Hyuga and held them both out to me.
はい、どうぞ。君とリーゼの分だよ。
Arigato.
Now I realize why Ibuki had wanted to bring me here. He wanted to get food for me and Lise.
He could have said so at least. Oh well. I appreciate it, Ibuki.
I thanked him as I took the trays.
ここからは一人で戻れる?
Sure, I have the way memorized now. I'll be fine. Also, thanks for providing food for us.
Oh.
She ate soup and bread before.
どういたしまして.
Oh, I'm heading back then. See you later. I returned to the room where Lise was waiting, taking care not to spill dinner. Lise. I'm back.
おかえりなさい。
She's alive! Lise, you're awake! I'd snuck into the room quietly, thinking Lise might still be asleep, but she was sitting up in bed. Her cheeks had more color in them, which was a huge relief. I walked into the room, put the trays on the table, and smiled at Lise. Yeah.
Let me save. I am now going to be fucking saving like a madman. So what you guys missed earlier in stream is the game crashed. The game crashed randomly when I went to the flowchart. Thankfully, I hadn't gotten too far in, but it was not fun. We are at 2-2 right now. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more. We're already almost halfway through Ibuki's route.
2-2. 2-2.
What's up?
ただいまだって。私も自然におかえりって言っちゃったし、なんだか自分の家みたいだね。
Yeah.
Oh, right. That was kind of weird, huh?
Yeah, exactly. It's never happened before. I know, it's It's Lise. She's alive. As Lise and I chatted, I felt myself beginning to relax. So much had happened in one day. Learning about the link between Moravia and Ibuki and the sad truth about the vectors. I hadn't even considered how much it was weighing down on my mind until now. Lise, are you feeling any pain? Are you sure you should be sitting up?
少し前に目が覚めたんだけど、昨日よりだいぶ気分がいいよ。ところで、どこに出かけてたの？
I took a long walk, just poking around, getting my bearings, stuff like that. Oh, I picked us up some food here. Sorry for leaving without saying anything. I thought I'd be right back. I should have left a note or something.
次からはぜひともそうするように。それより私、お腹空いちゃったな。
If you're hungry, that's a good sign. Let's eat together. Lise remained on the bed while I moved the table over so that we could both eat. The evening's meal was delicious. Hyuga really was an excellent cook. We kept exclaiming over the food as we ate. We were done with our meals in no time. Once we'd finished, Lise changed the conversation.
Someone has joined the kingdom!
Zeduam! Don't look! Don't look, Zeduam!
Thank you so much for 11 nights of mellows and yarns!
Yeah, no looky! No looky! I'm on the villain route!
Okay. Thank you so much for stopping by. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, get your toe beans! Everybody remember to get your toe beans!
Bye-bye!
Yeah, just come in, drop a sub, get your toe bean stamp.
Okay.
Okay! Tomorrow is gonna be a super long Baldur's Gate 3 stream, so there will be no spoilers unless you are playing Baldur's Gate 3, in which case there will be spoilers.
Yeah!
Ooh, I don't think I've ever had corn soup. There will be Asterion kisses. There will be so many kissies. I unlocked that feature. I'm gonna give him a kissy every 30 minutes. He's probably gonna get really fucking sick of me, but that's what you got yourself into, bub. Look. Look. We can both be touch-starved bastards. Asterion kiss counter will hit 100. I want to give him more hugs too, but we can't give him more hugs. We can kiss him, but there's no hugs. Yeah, hugs are special. She changed the conversation.
私、
Oh!
なんとなく思い出したよ。
Yikes!
化け物みたいなのに襲われて、怪我をして、そこからの記憶は途切れ途切れ。
Oh, no.
ずっと眠らされていた気がする。全然気持ちよくない、疲れる感じの眠りで、息が詰まる泥の中にいるみたいだった。そうしたら、君が助けに来てくれたの。
I did.
あれは夢かと思ってたんだけど、現実だったんだね。
Yeah, it was real.
やっぱり。ありがとう。
Lise, do you feel okay now?
大丈夫だよ。でも。
Oh no! Lise trailed off before hesitantly rolling up the hem of her shirt. Your stomach! There was a strange bruise. Lisa's got some sick tats. Yeah. It matched the markings on the front of the vectors. But she was given the antibody. Should she still undergo such a drastic change? Maybe the antibody shot limited the damage, but couldn't prevent the mark. It was just like Ibuki had said. Lise wasn't in danger of turning into a vector, but she wasn't quite human anymore either. Yeah? It looks like barbed wire, which is why I was like, that's interesting.
やっぱり驚くよね。気がついたらこんな感じになってたの。自分でも気持ち悪いなって思う。
Oh, sweetheart.
こんなものが出るなんて、私これからどうなっちゃうのかな。
I grabbed Lise's hand and squeezed it tight, hoping to reassure you. Lise, there's nothing gross about you. You're as awesome as ever, so please. But I was overcome with emotion and found myself at a loss of words.
もう落ち着いて。君の方が泣きそうになってるよ。
Sorry. I can't keep hiding the truth anymore, and I don't think I should anyway. I have to tell Lise what's going on so we can work out what we're gonna do next. Lise, please listen to me for a minute. This might be a lot to take in, but I promise it's the truth.
もうとっくに信じられないようなことの連続なんだから。君の言うことなら何を聞いても信じるよ。
Lise's smile gave me strength, and I found myself smiling back. The monster that attacked you, it's called a vector. Surprise, we're living surrounded by them. I really didn't think about the fact you might have PTSD from that.
Yeah.
I told Lise about everything I knew, about the vectors and about the situation she was currently caught up in. Lise listened calmly to me and never showed any signs of panic. She was mostly silent, save for an occasional question. Anyway, this is a kind of safe haven for the vectors. They live here together. Needless to say, we're safe here too. We're guests of the vectors... their boss, I guess? Something like that.
そこは心配してないよ。ここは安全な場所だって君が最初に教えてくれたでしょ。私は君の言葉を信じてるから。
You're too good, Lise.
Lise, thank you. Lise fell silent, deep in thought.
でもなんで研究エリアの研究者たちは私が害獣になるのを防ごうとしてくれなかったのかな。
Lise's question made me think back to that scene in the lab.
Oh my goodness.
Stay safe.
Yeah, she's handling it way better.
I mean, you were treated for your injuries and those seem to have mostly healed. Despite that, you and the others were put to sleep. It didn't seem like they were sedated to aid them with their healing, though. It's almost as if, rather than trying to prevent them from becoming vectors, you were research subjects.
研究材料。
I could have worded that more delicately, but that was the stark truth of the matter, and Lise deserved to know. I recalled to Lise how the researchers treated me, how it made me feel uneasy, and why it drove me to take her away. I also explained how Ibuki saved us, and that I was basically a superhero. Okay. I spilled everything. Lies were no longer necessary. Though, throughout my explanation, Lise remained quiet. It was almost anticlimactic how calm she was. I thought you'd be more shocked.
確かに驚いたよ。でも、もっと驚くことを立て続けに体験してるから、驚きに慣れちゃったみたい。ただの噂だと思ってた害獣に実際襲われたんだから、噂で聞いていたヒーローだって実在しても当然かなって。
Yeah.
むしろヒーローがいるって聞いて安心したな。害獣だけが現実でヒーローは作り話だったらそっちの方が絶望しちゃうよ。
They just were never talked about. They knew there were monsters, but they didn't know they were vectors. Yeah. And I guess they weren't really rare-ish, but they were kept so under wrap that I don't know.
But I took you away from Theta, your home, and I dragged you all the way out here. I was worried that Lise thought I'd gone too far and meddled more than I should have, but then Lise startled me by taking my hand.
君はずっと私のことを思って助けようとしてくれてたんだね。助けてくれてありがとう。
Oh, Lise! All the tension and worry I'd been carrying melted away when Lise said those words. You're not upset with me for bringing you to a place like this?
いやも何も選択肢が他になかったんでしょ。なら仕方ないよ。ネガティブ思考なんて君らしくないね。君が助けてくれなかったら私はとっくに理性のない害獣の仲間入りだったんだよ。私がこうして君と笑い合える今があるのは
君の行動のおかげじゃないの？
Oh, Lise. Tears welled up in my eyes. Lise was the one in bad shape, but here she was comforting me.
本当はね、寂しかったんだ。
Only?
最近の君は大事な秘密を抱えてたよね。ヒーローをやってるなんて確かに言えないよ。でもそんなこと想像もしなかったからさ。私は君の心が手の届かない遠くに行っちゃったみたいで寂しかった。だからあの日もちょっとだけ期待しちゃって街に行こうとしてたんだ。
Yeah.
君の気が変わってカフェに来てくれるんじゃないかなと思ってね。
I blinked, thinking back to the day Lise had been attacked. I don't want to think about it.
Why was Lise in town? She had a cafe. I had to come after all.
Yeah.
まあ君が来なかったら来なかったでカフェでケーキだけ買って帰ればいいかってくらいの軽い気持ちだったけどね。
Yeah, that's pretty much how I envisioned it. Lise not only going to the cafe, but, well, my heart swelled and I suddenly found myself hugging Lise. Lise, I'm so sorry. I caused you so much worry, so much pain.
よしよし、私は大丈夫だから。そんな泣きそうな顔しないで。
Aww. Lise, I care about you so much. I always have from day one.
君はヒーローとしてシータの人たちを守って親友として私を助けてくれたんだね。すっごく感謝してるよ。ありがとう。
I couldn't help but feel a bit bashful at Lise's earnest, heartfelt words. Stop! You're making me blush. You already thanked me before.
感謝の気持ちは何度示したって問題ないの。
Yeah.
それにしてもどうしよっか。私たちのこれからのこと考えなきゃ。
Oh yeah.
黙っていなくなったんだから多分君はシータの中で行方不明扱いってことになっちゃってるよね。
Most likely everyone thinks we were taken away. I imagine they're worried. But we can't trust the commander. Going back doesn't seem like an option.
私なんて研究者たちにとって大事な研究材料なわけだからシータに戻ったら
Yeah.
たちまち捕まっちゃうだろうね。
Yep.
家族にはやっぱり会いたいけど私が害獣に襲われた時点でもう二度と会えないことは決まってたんだね。
If I hadn't saved Lise, she would be a vector. But now she was a prime research specimen. Thinking about Lise's family makes my heart hurt. But there's nothing... That's nothing compared to the pain Lise must be feeling right now. Yeah. Lise, I'll always be by your side.
頼もしいね。さすがヒーロー。
Oh, precious. Yeah. I think I'm out of a job, though. I thought about the blooms inside. Well, either way, we really do need to think about what we're going to do now. Problem is, there's still a lot we don't understand. We don't even know exactly what it is the researchers want. It's hard to make choices about the future if we're in the dark.
私もそう思う。何をするにも情報は必要だね。
I'll try talking to Ibuki. He's the one who brought us here after all. Yeah, unemployed freelance magical girl. Woo woo.
害獣のボスの人だっけ？君の口ぶりだと信じていい人みたいだね。
I was surprised Lise had that impression. From what I've told you?
うん。結構わかりじゃなくて、さえ渡る親友の勘だよ。
Oh my god, you're really easy. You're really easy. We're really close.
Did she just compare me to a picture book? I'll just assume she can tell what I'm thinking because we're good friends. I went out with Ibuki earlier, actually. I just had even more questions by the end. I think Ibuki plans to tell me something, like there's more I don't know yet. I was gonna ask him tomorrow. Wanna come along? Lise declined with a shake of her head.
私はまだ本調子じゃないから、ここでお留守番してるよ。
Aww. Okay, that's probably a good idea. I was happy Lise and I had a good talk. I made up my mind to find Ibuki tomorrow.
Yeah, that was enough big reveals for one day.
The next day, I fetched food from Hyuga again and ate breakfast with Lise.
食事の後片付けはやっておくね。
I can do that. You still need to rest up.
いいの。 これくらいは平気だから。君は伊吹に話を聞きに行くんでしょ。さあさあ、早く行っておいで。
Alright, but promise me you'll rest if you start to feel unwell. With Lise's encouragement, I left the room and headed to Ibuki's. I just hope Ibuki's home. I took a deep breath and then knocked. Ibuki, are you in there? It's me. I couldn't hear a sound, so I knocked again. Nothing. I guess he's out.
わかった。困ったことがあったらいつでも声をかけて。僕はあの部屋にいるから。
That's what he said anyway, but I guess he has to go out sometimes. I can't expect him to stick around all day. Does Ibuki even live in that room though? Again, I found it difficult to picture the ethereal Ibuki doing mundane things like just hanging out in his room. Come to think of it, I was curious about Moravia's private life at first too. I could never have imagined that Moravia was really Ibuki at the time, but now's not the time to dwell on that. Even Ibuki's poop. Yeah, exactly. If he's not here, maybe he went out. I left the building determined to find him. Now then, where should I start my search? I thought he might be at the courtyard where meals are served. But I didn't see him when I went to pick up breakfast earlier, so I doubted he'd be there now. I then heard a curious grunt behind me. I turned to see a Vector looking at me. I approached it, speaking softly. Hey, can you tell me where Ibuki went? Or Moravia, if you've seen her. I guess that was a long shot. Yeah, they use pig noises for the Vectors. The Vector listened to me calmly. I reached out and gently stroked his fur. It then bumped its head against my hand, clearly begging for more pets. Talking to a Vector, let alone petting it, I never imagined I'd be doing this. Nah. I wasn't even scared when I walked around Tao, so I decided to take a walk around the colony and look for Ibuki at the same time. It's a bit like a scouting mission. I'll have to observe my surroundings carefully so I don't get lost. I parted from my Vector friend and began my jaunt around the colony. It's kind of eerie wandering around a colony that has almost no one in it. Some of these buildings look like they're about to fall over, but there are still plenty that seem habitable. The Vectors slept outside, but Ibuki, Hyuga, and Yukinami all appeared to live like humans. But they were the ones living that way. But if they were the only ones living that way, shouldn't the buildings in Tao be even more run down? But they're in decent repair. Does that mean more people live out here? If there were others here, there was a good chance they weren't fully human either. If I decided to live out the rest of my life in Tao, what would happen to my humanity? Why am I even worrying about... I spied someone off in the distance! It's Ryo! Standing by a building. It wasn't Ibuki or the others. No way! Other people do live here! I flattened myself against the wall and peered at the faraway figure. I figured it's best to hide, but I can't get a good view of the person from here. Seems like they're alone though. I don't think it's someone who's come to deal with me for siding with the Vectors, and I don't think it's a researcher either. Then I had a sudden realization. A loud gasp escaped me before I could cover my mouth. How did I realize? Look, there's only one other person with that silhouette. It's Ryo. That's Ryo over there! I had no idea why he'd be here, just seeing him left me shaken. What is Ryo doing here? My doubts began to solidify. It couldn't be, could it? Luckily, he didn't seem to notice me. He wasn't looking my way at all. I'm just glad I noticed him first. I tried to calm my hammering hard as I continued to keep an eye on Ryo. He seemed to have recently left a building and was now talking to someone standing in the doorway. It seems to be a normal conversation, nothing heated or angry going on. But from what I could tell, I don't think it's Ibuki or the others. There must be more people here after all. I was dying to get a better look at the stranger. I leaned out from my hiding place. Just then, Ryo and the stranger stopped talking, and Ryo turned, heading towards me. And then he saw me. Uh-oh! Ryo had a rare look of surprise on his face, as if he'd never expected to see me here. But he only faltered for a moment. His usual composed expression returned in a heartbeat. Yeah. Awkward! What should I do? Should I run? No, I'd never get away from him. Besides, he might know something useful. But I can't say for sure that he came alone. What if the Blooms are with him? Or Or if not the Bloom's members, he might have the commander along with him. He and Ryo do work closely together. I only had a couple seconds to think. Well, nothing's getting done as long as we stand here staring at one another. I squared my shoulder, checked the perimeter, and walked up to Ryo cautiously. I didn't want to get too close, so I made sure to stop a safe distance away. Hello.
見ていたのか。まさかこんなところで会うとはな。
Yeah, he's got fairy senses. Oh no, the goddamn fairies, the spirits took me again. They've been really bad tonight. Been really bad tonight.
Excuse me. I could say the same of you.
強気だな。お前が連れ出したお友達は元気か？
She's fine, thank you. A wave of anxiety rushed over me, and an icy hand gripped my heart. Ryo seemed to know about how I'd taken Lise and run from the research district. How does he know about that? If he knows, then does Kaori, the commander, and everyone else too? Everyone else know too? When I'd asked to see Lise at the hospital, Ryo and the commander lied, telling me no visitors were allowed there. There's a good chance he knew that Lise was about to become a Vector. Despite that, he'd remained quiet. Like the commander, Ryo wasn't trustworthy. What are you doing here?
俺には俺の役割があってな。
Ryo's response was chilly and abrupt. Huh, pretty typical. Ryo's not the type to give up secrets easily. I'll have to work him a little harder. What the heck? Is the commander here too?
自分がここにいることがバレてないか気になるようだな。
He got me. My heart skipped a beat. He looked so amused, but I tried to keep a calm facade and responded with a silent nod.
まさきさんが来ているのかという質問の答えはノーだ。ここには俺一人で来た。お前がここにいることはまさきさんも知っている。
Oh fuck, well.
だからといって連れ戻そうとも思っていないはずだがな。
He knows you're here though. Fuck.
How does the commander know I'm here? And more importantly, why doesn't he want me brought back? I felt my spirits sink. Maybe he had already given up on me. Wait a minute. If he's really given up on me, then why is Ryo here? Why would Ryo even come here unless he planned to take me back or just snuff me out for good?
Yeah.
So you're not here on official Bloom's business?
ああ。俺は任務でここにいるわけじゃない。
Yeah.
Then what are you doing here? Do you have any idea what this place... wait, I guess you do.
Wait, I guess you do. Do you even know what this place... Well, I don't know how you wouldn't.
It was impossible to miss the herds of Vectors swarming around the area. That made it clear the colony was the Vector stronghold. If you're not on duty, then why would you even need to come to a place like this?
さて、どうだろうな。これ以上はお前に話すつもりはない。聞いても無駄だ。
Oh my god, that's so rude. He might be. Take off your shirt. Shirt off, shirt off, shirt off.
And with that barb, Ryo turned away. I called out to him with urgency. Hey, hold on! There was one last thing I had to try and ask, even if he refused to answer. You were talking with someone, right? It was inside that building. Ryo actually stopped. He rolled his eyes and walked back towards me.
知りたければ自分で尋ねてみればいい。お前にも関わりがある。
What?
He then turned away again and walked off for good. He said ask them, as if it's as easy as checking the weather. The very thought of questioning a stranger made me cringe. I need info, though. And if the stranger could have a quiet conversation with Ryo, maybe it's a sign they're not hostile. It's doubtful they'd just up and attack me. I'm still nervous, but I have to try.
The Vectors don't speak English, sadly.
I tentatively made my way to the building and stared at the door. Just then...
あれ、そこで何をしているの？
Ibuki, what the fuck? I heard someone call out to me. I turned to see Ibuki standing there. Ibuki, at last! Ah, Ibuki. I felt embarrassed, as if he caught me doing something I shouldn't be doing. I looked off to the side nervously, attempting to avoid his gaze. I would guess Ibuki knows a lot about the people who live here. He might know about Ryo too.
どうしたの？難しい顔してうなってたけど。
Mumbling, I was just thinking quietly to myself. I'll pass on asking him about this building's resident for now. Instead, I actually wanted to know. I just actually wanted to ask you, Ibuki, do you know anyone by the name of Tomitsuka? Ibuki blinked, surprised by my question.
富塚。あ、寮のことか。
You know him?
知ってるよ。ああ、もしかして寮にあったの？
Ibuki talked as if such visits were routine. I simply nodded. I was shocked to learn someone from the Blooms was involved with the Vectors. So is he, like, allied with you all?
仲間？
Does he come here often?
うん。よく来ているし、役に立つこともあるよ。
What? A big help? It sounded like Ryo and Ibuki's group had some kind of mutually beneficial relationship. What do you mean by that?
いろいろだよ。こまごまとした用事を引き受けてくれたり、彼が日用品を手に入れてくることもある。
So he's like a weird delivery boy? I guess that's what he's been doing in all the other routes.
ほら、昨日君にあげたクラッカー。
Oh.
あれも確か、寮が持ってきた食料品の中に入ってたやつだよ。
Yikes.
I knew the label on that bag was familiar. Oh, I see.
他には、抗体をくれたのも寮だった。
What? You mean the one that gave Lise? He got that for you?
そうだよ。
What? Ryo's a maintenance worker who provides combat support, but he's also linked to the Vectors and has access to the antibody. Ryo seemed to have so many identities, I wondered what he truly was. Well, what he was truly like.
もっとも、抗体をくれたのは、君であるとも言えるけどね。
What? What? I couldn't process what Ibuki was saying.
I was? Is this another one of your riddles?
そのままの意味だよ。あの抗体は、君の遺伝子をもとに、亮とヒューガが作ったものなんだ。
We're the cure! My genes? That was the last thing I ever expected him to say. I froze in complete and utter shock.
ちょうどいいから、君に教えたいと思っていたことを今教えるよ。
Ibuki took my hand once again and began to lead me somewhere.
Where are we going?
行けばわかるよ。
With this antibody stuff.
ちゃんと教えてあげるから焦らないで。
I want to know what he was talking about. Blessings. But I guess he won't let me in on it until he's good and ready to do so. I opted to remain quiet. I even allowed Ibuki to lead me by the hand again without a word of protest. I thought Ibuki was kind of mysterious, but looking at him now, I think he just likes to go about things his own way. We walked through the colony hand in hand. Ibuki seemed to be in a good mood. I think he just enjoyed walking with me. Why? That is now too... What?
いい天気だね。
Are you gonna... What a fucking...
Are you gonna tell me about the goddamn antibodies? Yeah, though that's just the dome tech.
That is a very abrupt tone shift.
I hadn't pointed out the artificial weather yesterday, but I couldn't help myself now. Still, it's Ibuki. He was probably just trying to make conversation.
君は片付けって得意？
What? I can't follow your train of thought at all. Now that you bring it up, though, I do like to keep tidy and organized.
そうなんだ。偉いね。僕は片付けって苦手なんだよね。
Oh my god.
Okay.
I murmured a reply, though I really wanted to sigh. I had no idea what he was getting at.
片付けの途中で興味がそれたり、他のことを始めちゃったりして、なかなか終わらないんだ。
Yeah, I mean, it explains why our blood was able to help Haruka and, you know, our kiss. Yeah, that's what I think happened. We survived the vectorification, and it made us immune, and now, but it does explain why, no, but she was losing her powers, and the powers are related to the vector stuff. As far as I'm aware, the powers and vector stuff are like they're like cousins. Yeah. Yeah, so my understanding, which might be wrong, is there is an inciting event. The inciting event is you get hit by a vector. you then there's two options. Either you awaken to your magical powers and you're immune to the vector disease, or you become a vector. You are not immune. And we just happen to be the first person to be immune.
Spoken like the chronically disorganized. Oh no! If you hate doing it, then why bother cleaning in the first place?
I wish it was that fucking easy, Game Prince.
そうしたら部屋が散らかったままになるよ。
You!
Oh, I guess you have a point. Shoot, are we using logic now? I can't keep up.
それにヒューガが片付けろってうるさいんだ。雪並みもよく注意されてるよ。
Hyuga's really a super mom, isn't he? He cooks, cleans, and keeps you all in line.
I don't know what a mom does exactly, but I have an idea from TV and books. I felt like I'd been given another peek into Ibuki's life. It seemed exhausting. We made some more small talk, but Ibuki didn't offer up anything related to the topic on my mind.
Oh no, my ear itch.
The antibody, my genes. Oh yeah, we straight up called him a mom. Yeah, she's an orphan. Well, she's an orphan. She's an orphan. We know she has not had parents for like her entire life. That was like that was one of the like first 3 face punches when I started this game. It was, yeah, it was ethical question. Bow. We don't have parents. Bow. The world sucks. Bow.
The antibody, my genes. What does Ibuki plan to tell me? I needed to know, but as time passed, I became more and more scared. I felt his gaze on me. When I looked at him, he stared back into my eyes. My heart skipped from the intensity of it all. Intimacy. Well, the first 3 letters were the same there. I'm dropping a save. I'm scared.
Oh my god, we're at 3-1 already? Okay. I forgot how quick these games go. Or how quick these routes go. I mean, after Birushana, this game feels like it's like short.
What is it?
ただ君を見ていただけ。
Well, obviously, the question is why. Does staring at me amuse you?
楽しい？どうなんだろう。ああ、でも嬉しい気分にはなるよ。
True.
ずっと見ていても飽きないから、
Okay,
楽しいってことなのかな。
When we get to Norn 9, another game with goddamn 9 love interests. Norn 9 is fucking long. Norn 9 is very long. It's wild. Though I will say, it is going to be very fun going to Lover Pretend next, which has 1, 2, 3, 4. It has 5. There's only 5 love interests. There's not 8. There's not 9. It's 5. And then Winter's Wish is 6. Jack Sean is 6 as well. Charade Maniacs is another one that's got a lot of fucking love interests. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Charade Maniacs has 9. And then, Radiant Tail has 5. So, you know. Well, no. No. I mean, I've played one with 3. Well, it was 2 and then a side one. Yeah.
You sure are odd, Ibuki. I smiled wryly. Was he really that out there, or was it just an act? I had no idea. I felt more sets of eyes on me. I turned and saw a nearby herd of vectors watching us. They stood and blinked, completely docile, showing no signs of moving on. The Vectors are really relaxed.
今のところはそうみたいだね。
If only they could always be this calm and placid. I know they're lonely for people, but if they could just stay away from Theta, it'd be so much better for both them and us. Maybe I could ask Ibuki to prevent the Vectors from going near Theta. That might be impossible, though.
君は害獣に興味があるの？
Huh? Well, in a way.
さっきから熱心に見てたよね。
Of course I was interested in the Vectors, but not in the way Ibuki was likely thinking.
おいで。こっちの方がよく見えるから。
Okay, this is turning into a petting zoo date. Instead of him telling us about the ginormous bomb that he dropped in our lap about us being the antibody, he's like, let's go to a petting zoo, motherfucker. Fluffy abs, yeah.
Ibuki led me to a large tree nearby. We stood in front of its trunk.
この上からならよく見えるよ。
I can't climb a tree, Ibuki. I've never climbed a tree in my life.
So we're climbing trees now? Never tried it, but if I use my powers...
行くよ。じっとしていて。
Ibuki suddenly grabbed me in his arms and lifted us into the air. He moved so suddenly I didn't have time to fully cry out. Yikes, I wasn't expecting that. I could have climbed it myself, you know.
でもこうする方が早いと思って。
Ibuki chose a thick branch and sat me down. Thankfully, it seemed very sturdy, so it was unlikely to break and spill me to the ground. I clung onto the trunk as I tried to shift into a comfortable position. Ibuki gently put his hands on my back. His touch was strong and reassuring.
僕がこうしているから安心して。
Yeah, it's a new CG. He casually slid in closer until I could feel his breath on my ear. Oh god, Speaking of ears, my ears itch. Hold on. I lowered my head too much and the spirits fucking took me. Why do my ears itch?
Both of my ears this time. I know. It's so annoying. That was so annoying. Okay.
Yeah. Head passing to... Yeah, scritches! Scritches, scritches, scritches. I have had one person actually give me scritches. Like, under my chin. That was nice. That felt cool. I was like, ooh, that's nice. Ooh. He casually slid in closer until I could feel his breath on my ear. My cheeks feel like they're on fire. I don't think this is just plain embarrassment.
Wait, is Ibuki gonna lose his powers if he falls in love? That could go badly.
Either way, Ibuki's words soothed me, and I was able to relax. Thank you.
Maybe, I don't know.
Ibuki smiled at me, then turned his focus to the vectors on the ground.
ほら、見てごらん。みんな好きなところでのんびりくつろいでいるよ。
Yeah, it looks very peaceful.
ここは害獣たちがよくくつろいでいる通りなんだ。
I see. Yeah, there's definitely a lot of them gathered in this area. Indeed, there were vectors everywhere I looked, both below us and strolling in the distance. The tree was a perfect vantage point for watching them, even better than a building. Don't the vectors wind up fighting when they're living this close together?
害獣同士の喧嘩か。ないとは言い切れないけど、僕は見たことがないな。
Oh no. Wow, that's pretty amazing. I was honestly impressed. When a lot of humans gather in one place, squabbles are inevitable. They have no sentience and live by instincts, but they're more peaceful than humans. My sudden realization both surprised and baffled me. I guess they really are peaceful creatures. Maybe Ibuki's affection for the vectors is starting to rub off on me? Yeah. Ibuki gazed at the vectors, smiling.
僕はここからの景色が好きなんだ。君にもこの場所を気に入ってもらえたみたいでよかったよ。
Yeah, exactly. We just need to treat him like sheep.
Oh my god, they might be like the big dogs. They might be herding dogs. Wow, we're already 50-50. Okay, so there's only... Are there really only 4? There's only 4 choices on these routes. Well, 8 total, but 4 each.
It's a good spot, and vector watching is nice. I gazed out into the distance.
Suddenly, Ibuki shot me a serious look. Are we finally going to talk about the antibodies?
害獣たちを見てどう思う？
What do you mean?
こうして見ていると害獣たちはこの風景にすごく馴染んでいると思わない？
I consider the implication of Ibuki's question. Look normal to me. It looks like they're just living ordinary lives. I wasn't sure what Ibuki meant by at home. Whatever he saw, I couldn't see it, so I just answered him honestly. They look normal, peaceful. Yeah, they look natural. It's almost as if the Vectors have somehow always belonged in this colony. Like this is the way things should be.
やっぱり君もそう感じるんだね。
What? He seemed pleased with my answer and leaned forward excitedly.
でもコロニーの中よりも外にいる方がもっと自然な感じがしない？
You're a really weird shepherd, and I don't know how to feel about it.
I frowned. My idea of natural was clearly different from Ibuki's.
普通の人間がコロニーの外に出られないことは知っているよね。
Yes, of course.
人間が出られないコロニーの外でも害獣たちは普通に生きていける。
That's because that's what they were created for.
そう考えると、この世界の環境は人間たちではなく害獣たちにこそ適していると思わない？
There it is. It took me a moment to process what Ibuki was saying, but his words soon sank in.
That's a frightening thought.
Why would he say that?
Think like that.
Ibuki's eyes were full of sorrow, much like they'd been earlier this morning.
His words scared me. My unease was proof that his beliefs were at odds with my true feelings. I was worried that if Ibuki kept talking, he'd say something terrible. Something that would change me when I heard it. The bad vibes I was getting kept me from giving his question a thoughtful response. I fell silent, and he looked at me from the corner of his eye.
君はもう少しこちら側に近いと思っていたけど、そういうわけでもなさそうだね。
Yeah. What does he mean by that? I felt my heartbeat speed up. It seemed as though my bad feeling was justified.
自分のことを思い出してみて。君が超能力を使っているときは、コロニーの外に出られるようになるよね。それはつまり、人間よりも害獣に近い存在っていうことなんだ。
I see what he's going for, but...
More like a vector. I forced myself to overcome my unease and consider what Ibuki was saying. I'm like a vector because my powers make it possible to survive outside the colony. That's kind of an extreme take.
It is, and it's also imposing a very extreme dichotomy. Like that's a flawed classification system. Plants can survive outside of Theta. Like we've mentioned that there's trees. So does that mean that plants are like vectors? Like, behold a man. I just realized that I shouldn't just say that with no context. It's Plato and somebody else. I think it was Plato. It was 2 Greek philosophers arguing about how do you classify a man, or how is a man different than, how do you classify a man? And I think it was it was Plato or somebody. Yeah, Plato or somebody was like, a man is something that has no feathers, no fur, and walks on 2 legs. And then somebody plucked a chicken, held it up, and went, behold, a man. Exactly. Yeah! I knew it was Plato! I was like, I think it was Plato, because I was like, well, that's silly. Plato had some interesting allegories. He had a cave and a chicken. Well, the chicken was used to disprove him, but... I'm not the only person like this, though. Why me? You've always been seeking me out. Is it because I'm vector-ish, like you say? Yeah, behold, a metaphor. I'm not the only person with powers. You could have picked any of the blooms, so why me?
僕が君にこだわるのかかい？もちろん理由があるんだよ。僕たちは昔会ったことがある。君は覚えていないと思うけれどね。
Huh? Somehow hearing that I'd met Ibuki before was even more shocking than the Vector thing.
What? Oh god.
僕と君には縁がある。
What?
それが君をここへ連れてきた理由だよ。
Uh-huh. When did we meet?
君が生まれてすぐ。
What? Of course I wouldn't remember that.
After my birth? If that's the case, have you met my mom and dad too?
Wait! Oh no! Does that mean he's as old as our parents? Oh no! I hope he's not why we're an orphan. Not the Twilight moment! I imprinted on you from the moment you were born. Oh, okay.
あるよ。
I knew nothing about my parents. I had no idea what they were like. They were just blank spaces in my memories. But in front of me was someone who knew them. I was suddenly filled with a burning desire to learn more.
君の両親は特別な存在だった。
I don't
そ
think
れ
he's
と
our
同
parent.
じように君も特別な子なんだ。
Special? How? Both me and my parents? Where did Ibuki meet them anyway? If he met my parents when I was born, then he must also be from Theta. And he would have been a child back then too, provided he's not immortal or something.
Yeah.
Special how exactly? I had so many questions, I couldn't decide which to ask first. I ended up blurting out the first one that came to mind.
僕は君のことがずっと気になっていた。でも君という人間をはっきり意識するようになったのはブルームズのメンバーになってからだよ。
He'll lose his mom powers, yeah. Ibuki gave me a warm look. I remained silent and waited for him to continue.
僕と君の両親はシータの研究所で知り合った。
Oh no.
彼らは僕と似た境遇でありながら僕とは全く別の運命をたどったんだ。
Did our parents turn into vectors? Were our parents both infected?
そんな彼らは僕にとって特別な存在だった。
What the fuck is our
だから
relationship?
その子供である君のこともどう育っているか気にかけていたんだ。でもそれだけだった。
That's really weird.
僕は君が健やかに育ってくれていればそれでよかったんだ。
Ibuki's tone suggested that he'd been wrong for having that frame of mind.
ところがある時君がブルームズのメンバーに加わった。
Drafted?
驚いたよ。まさか君とそんな形で再会するなんて。
Oh god.
君がブルームズに加わるきっかけを調べてみたら、害獣に襲われた際、超能力に目覚めたということを知った。
That's why my inciting incident V off, you either become a vector or you become a magical girl. That's where I got it from.
これはすごいことだよ。やっぱり君は特別な子だったんだって僕はすぐに確信した。
Shit, what the fuck?
Is it that unusual for someone to gain superpowers after a vector attack? The commander explained things when I joined the Blooms, but he didn't act like my awakening was a very big deal. So, wait a minute. Even as I spoke, I realized something odd.
Yeah.
I just accepted everything I'd been told without question. I never even thought to challenge a single sentence. But when I thought about things now, I was aware of how much I'd overlooked.
本当に気がつかないの？周りにこれだけ害獣がいるのに。
Right, those vectors were once humans. If Lise's vector-induced injury hadn't been treated, she would have turned into one too.
害獣に襲われた人間は害獣になるんだよ。でも君はならなかった。そんな人間はほとんどいないんだ。
Huh. Suddenly, everything clicked into place. I finally realized what I'd been overlooking. I was injured by a vector. But I never turned into one. What does it all mean?
Yeah.
Oh wait, the antibody! I must have been given the same shot as Lisa at some point. That's why. I blurted out my theory as soon as it popped into my head, as if saying it made it true, but Ibuki wasn't about to humor me.
あれは君の特異性に気がついた僕がリョウとヒューガに頼んで君の遺伝子から作ってもらったものだよ。
Wait, does that mean you've never given it to anybody and Lise was the first person you gave it to?
そもそもあの時点ではこの世に存在していなかった。
Yep.
Hyuga is also a researcher. Hyuga's a researcher who got turned into a vector. Through, yeah. I don't know exactly how, but I don't remember exactly which route. But, Hyuga did say he was a researcher who got turned into, like, mid-whatever the fuck he is.
Ibuki didn't falter as he plainly laid out the facts at the heart of all my questions. So, why? What am I? A vector attacked me, but I never turned into one. Instead, the attack awakened my powers.
I mumbled my thoughts out loud and suddenly felt like I was some kind of horrible mutant. It was terrifying to consider.
君というか僕やユキナミ、それにブルームズにいる何人かは研究所で生み出された実験体のようなものだよ。
What?
正確には君の場合は君の両親が実験体だった。
There it is.
My parents were test subjects? It didn't make any sense, and yet it all sounded terrible in my mind. What are you telling me?
真実だよ。実験体だった君の両親は我が子に自分たちと同じ運命をたどらせたくなくて研究者たちから君を隠した。でもブルームズのメンバーになったことで君は再び元の運命に戻ってきてしまったと言えるね。
Uh-oh. I couldn't believe what he was saying. My grip on the branch tightened, turning my knuckles white, I guess.
I don't believe it.
I was told my parents were researchers who worked in the research district. I repeated the story I'd heard from Uncle Yashima. Well, this is where we find out that Uncle Yashima isn't all that good. Desperately wanting it to still be true. But if my parents truly were researchers, that meant they played a part in the making of the vectors, or were directly responsible for them. That simple bit of logic seemed to escape my mind, or perhaps I preferred not to think about it.
They were just normal researchers.
My voice was weak and unconvincing. I was surprised to even hear it come out of me.
誰かから聞いただけの情報をどうして信じられるの？君は今信じていた現実から乖離した出来事のただ中にいるのに。
To be fair, you are also secondhand information. Like, you're just like, yeah, I knew him. Okay, cool.
自分の目で見て体験したこと以上に信じられることなんてあるのかな？
I mean, I was at a loss for words. I felt completely silent, but Ibuki resumed speaking. True, we do have similar orbs.
人間たちは長年コロニーの外で生き残るための研究を行っていた。人間が生存できるようコロニーの外の環境を改善しようとする試みもあったらしいけど、結局うまくいかなかったみたいだね。さまざまな研究が失敗に終わっていく中で、今度は視点を変えて、環境ではなく人間を変える研究にシフトしていった。
True, my orb is bigger.
表向きはコロニーの外の環境改善プロジェクトを継続しているふりをして、その裏では別の研究が行われていたんだ。過酷な環境下でも生きられる人間を生み出す研究をね。そうして作られたのが君の両親や僕、雪並みみたいな存在だった。
Oh God. From the way the researchers acted, it all made sense now that I knew the truth about the vectors.
How many others like us are there?
さあ、わからないな。少なくとも僕が知るだけでも数えきれないほどいるよ。僕たちは成功例として崇められたけれど、何しろ手探りの研究だったからね。失敗することの方が多かった。そういう多くの実験体は失敗例として廃棄されていったよ。大勢ね。
Ibuki's words were heavy. I followed his gaze and saw several vectors converged onto the tree, looking up at us.
Huh? When did they all gather there? Are they drawn to human voices too?
I guess. No, wait. All the pieces of the puzzle I'd received from Ibuki suddenly clicked into place, forming a clear picture. Oh no. That's where the vectors came from. I let out a gasp when the realization hit me.
These vectors, were they all failed test subjects?
害獣に襲われた人間の数にしては、ここにいる害獣は数が多すぎると思わない？
Ibuki didn't confirm or deny, but his response made it clear I'd stumbled onto the right answer. I shuddered as the sinister implications of the truth sank in. A cold bead of sweat trickled down my back.
自分たちが住むシータのすぐ近くに廃棄するのは何かと問題が多いから、遠く離れたこのタウにわざわざ捨てたんだよ。殺処分にしなかった理由はわからない。まだ利用価値があると考えたのかな。
Oh, goodness.
少なくとも研究者たちに良心の呵責があったから生かしておいたというわけじゃないだろうね。
Goodness gracious.
Ibuki had clearly left something unsaid, but I could fill in the blanks myself now. But they had to kill the vectors who return and attack Theta. In other words, the researchers made the vectors, and then they made us to exterminate them as needed. I prayed Ibuki would smile and tell me it was all a bad joke, but I knew that was wishful thinking.
実際に命じていたのはもっと上の人間だと思うけど、その通りだよ。どちらにせよ、人間は自分の手で害獣を生み出して自分の手で葬るという矛盾を続けていたことに変わりはないね。そんなことをして何の意味があるのか、僕にはさっぱりわからないんだ。
I have no idea either.
None of this makes any sense, but I just can't sit on the sidelines while this continues on. From my birth to the things I did while I was a member of the Blooms, I've been caught up in this my whole life. I had no idea, but I still made people suffer. My thoughts threatened to overwhelm me, and the world around me started to grow dark. I forced myself to take a deep breath. Now I get why you brought me here, Ibuki. You wanted me to be viewing the vectors while you told me the truth, right? You wanted me to sympathize with their plight. I gave voice to the possibility that had popped up in my mind, but Ibuki shook his head.
僕はただ君に決めてもらいたいだけだよ。さっきも言ったけれど、僕は研究の失敗作として切り捨てられた害獣たちの方がこの世界に馴染んでいると思うんだ。だって害獣たちはコロニーの外でも生きていけるんだから。
I'd heard enough, but Ibuki wouldn't stop talking.
むしろコロニーの中でしか生きられない、外の環境に順応できなかった人間の方こそこの世界に馴染んでいないように思えない？そう考えると、この世界で生きていくべきは人間じゃなくて害獣なんじゃないかと思うんだけど、君はどう思う
？Oh god. Oh wow, that oh god. Oh god. Oh god. I can't decide. Well,
君はどう思う？
I still don't know. Okay, there we go. Still don't know. Well, I think I still don't quite know. My intuition told me not to say anything definitive, so my answer was vague. The question seemed to have a huge chasm running through it. It reeked of conflict.
じっくり考えたいってことだね。もちろんいいよ。
Why is my opinion so important to you anyway?
君が僕にとって特別な子だから。
I'd always been charmed by Ibuki and Moravia's beautiful smile. It was irresistible. But right now, something about that smile made me uneasy.
君がどちらの結論に至っても僕は構わないよ。
That's
君
a
の思う
lie.
ようにすればいい。
That's a lie. You're to be really upset if I say I have the opposite thought.
僕は人間のことも害獣のことも
That's
嫌いじゃない
also
か
a
らね。
lie. Ah, right. Ibuki is. I looked at him and understood. When you get past his otherworldly air and facade of mystery, a pure, uncomplicated monster lurked underneath. His existence defied human comprehension. Yep. It was no wonder he made us so uneasy. Made us, me, so uneasy. I shouldn't say too much in front of him. I'd let my guard slip, but I was alert again. I had to choose my answers carefully, very carefully. Ibuki seemed deep in thought, but I couldn't get a read on him. I spoke up, my voice trembling. If that's the case, how would you react if I did say that vectors deserve this world more than humans? I regretted my question the moment I said it, but I just couldn't keep my mouth shut.
決まっているよ。人間たちをすべて害獣にするんだ。
Well.
そうすればこの世界で生きたいっていう人間たちの願いも叶うしね。
I felt a shiver go down my spine, but Ibuki just shrugged. Ibuki's powers, his love for the vectors, it was easy to see that he had what he needed to make his suggestion a reality. He's actually serious. Ibuki looked like a human. He talked like a human. I'd been fooled into believing he had human interests at heart. But there was nothing human about him. Ibuki wasn't a man. He was a monster. Seriously? Did I bad act? Okay, I didn't, but I feel like I am. And I didn't want to be anywhere near him. I suddenly had the strong urge to flee, to get far away from this place as quickly as possible.
ん？どうしたの？顔色が良くないよ。
Ibuki's scaring me. I don't think I should have been getting our sync up. Ibuki's scaring me. Maybe his way of thinking is logical if you look at it from the vector side, but logical doesn't always equal correct. I knew I was being inconsistent, but right now I needed to put emotion before logic. Even if what the humans are doing is wrong, Ibuki's way of thinking lacks perspective. Yeah. I mean, he live a happy life as a vector herder. I spent my entire life as a human and grew up amongst them. I can't condemn them so easily. I listened to my gut and shifted away from Ibuki. He frowned, seemingly surprised by the move.
どうかした？
I think I have to go now. Desperate to get away from Ibuki, I transformed and leaped down from the tree. Luckily, Ibuki made no attempt to move at all. He didn't even seem interested in following me. I have to get out of here before he changes his mind. I didn't look back as I hurried away, but I could feel his eyes boring into my back. I need to get back to Lise. As I ran, my head whirled with confused thoughts. Ibuki's way of thinking frightened me, and I couldn't understand what he meant by trying to make me pick a side. It did help me rescue Lise, but coming here might have been a terrible mistake. We can't stay. I need to get away before he wins me over with another sermon.
So, oh, what?
But how? Okay, that's interesting. I ran as if my life depended on it. Satisfied I'd put a decent amount of distance between us, I stopped to catch my breath. All the exertion seemed to dislodge something in my head. Everything suddenly felt clearer.
Yeah, that's what we're afraid of.
It's too dangerous to be around Ibuki, but I don't see how we can leave immediately with Lise's condition still as bad as it is. I'll take a step back and monitor the situation while avoiding Ibuki as much as possible. He wants me to pick a side, so I doubt he'll try to start anything until I actually give him an answer. I need to stay calm and wait for my chance to make a run for it. I've got to stay strong and protect Lise. Alright. Hey.
Oh god. Oh god. I returned to the room where Lise was waiting and explained what had just happened. I think I need to be ending soon, but... Okay, yeah. Well, elope with Lise, yeah, okay. This is where we're gonna have to end it, unfortunately. Cannot do a long stream because I will be doing a long stream tomorrow. Yeah, we'll have to learn to make muffins from scratch. Fucking hell. I knew Ibuki was gonna be kind of fucked, but I wasn't expecting that. I knew it was gonna be a rough one, but this game really is just hitting me in the face with like, hey, ethical quandary, boom, hey, ethical quandary, boom, hey, ethical quandary, boom. Oh, goodness gracious. Yay, a fun magical girl otome, I said, as everything in this game is just fun, like, just fucking like throws ethical quandaries at my face. Yeah, lots of mysteries answered. Oh, goodness gracious. Well, let's pop over here. You all know the usual song and dance. If you're not already following me on social media, I'd appreciate it if you would. Tomorrow will be a long stream of Magical Girl Baldur's Gate. Baldur's Gate 3. More Baldur's Gate. I'm going to kiss the vampire. Yeah, that's how magical girls be sometimes. But yeah. I will be, you know, announcing on Twitter and stuff when that stream will be, because... we'll see. Magical Girl Saucera? Yeah, but Saucera is kind of a bit like a magical girl. I mean, to be fair. Yeah. That's probably just a warlock. It's just a warlock. But yes, alright, well. Goodness gracious, this game has thrown my brain into a blender. goodness. All right, well, I hope you all have a wonderful morning, afternoon, evening, whatever time it is for you. And yeah, I will see you all hopefully tomorrow. Yeah, but without any further ado,
Bye bye!